Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Craig, the Carnivore Hiker or Carnivore-ish hiker this weekend, and welcome back. I told you I'd be out today. I'm doing just a short hike today because it's been kind of off and on raining, and not a big fan of hiking in the rain. Some light drizzle, fine, but the way it was raining and going off and on today made it kind of tough to get out. So I'm actually going to keep this kind of short. I did do, before it started raining earlier today, I did do about 4 miles with Winnie. So I got that under my belt today. By the time I'm done today, it's probably going to be another 3 or 4. So probably 7 or 8 total today. Probably going to be one of the last times I get out before Mammoth March next weekend. I'm under a week now before that. So looking forward to that. I am going to take you with. Kind of show you where I'm staying too on Friday and Saturday night. But when I get there Friday, I'll kind of show you. I'm also testing out some new equipment. You can see I got a wireless microphone now. I'm hoping I've got this hooked up right. We'll see what happens. I'm not the most technologically savvy person when it comes to this thing. I can do some computer type work and that, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, little different story. So I want to talk about a couple things today. If you see my camera kind of waving, it is a little bit windy out here today. I'm trying to hold it up too so it doesn't fall over and that. But before I get started, I want to give a little shout out to one of my avid subscribers. See, my camera started falling over. One of my avid subscribers, wonderful young lady. She's subscribed, I think, kind of early on, has watched all the videos, and just a wonderful young gal. So Marissa, this is for you. Stay fantastic and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for watching the videos and liking and subscribing, and hopefully we'll see you very soon. I have met this young lady before, and she's wonderful. So Marissa, thank you, and keep watching. So, with the Mammoth March coming up here, and I was actually going to talk about this at a later date, probably in another month and a half or so, but I'm going to do it today because the camera almost fell over again. So for those that do know me, almost 6 years ago now, I had kind of a major accident, and I look back on it, and I guess, being kind of very grateful and thankful and, blessed and things like that with the way things turned out from this. If things had turned out differently, I wouldn't be able to do something like this, or even worse, maybe I wouldn't even be around. But so it was coming out of Thanksgiving weekend of 2019. We had a snowstorm that weekend, and I was off work that Monday, and I was going to be off Tuesday as well because I was supposed to have a medical procedure that day. And my wife was, she wasn't working, but she was at a training session for work. And I figured, you know what, we got a little over a foot of snow on the roof of our house, and I'm going to get up there and shovel it off. Something I've done dozens of times without incident. And it was actually a really nice day out. It was probably about 30 degrees, 32 degrees. The sun was out. I actually had to take one of my coats off when I was up on the roof because I was getting warm. And I had cleats on my boots so I wouldn't slip, anything like that. I took precautions. I put my ladder up on our deck. So I'm getting to the point I actually don't have a lot left to shovel. And as I'm shoveling some snow down, my shovel caught on something and slipped out of my hand and slipped off the end of the roof. And I knew better not to chase it. I figured I'm just going to let it fall. I'm going to go down, go over to the ladder and go down the ladder, get the shovel, go back up, finish up, and then go in the house. And by that time, my wife should have been home. Well, that's not the way things worked out. So I go over to the ladder. I put my hand on top of the ladder. And now from the deck of the ladder to where the top of the ladder extended above the roof was maybe 8 feet, 9 feet maybe. So I put my hand on the top of the ladder. I start to swing my leg over and my ladder starts to slide. I've already got momentum going over and I proceed to fall off our roof. Now, my initial fall wasn't that far. It was only 6 feet because I landed perpendicular across our deck railing. But I landed so hard that I could actually hear the cracks in my back because that's the way I went down. I went down kind of, and I hit kind of in this area in my back and on this side and proceeded to roll off, fell another 3 feet to the deck platform and then slid down our deck steps. Now there were only about 5 of them, 5 steps, so not all that far. And then ended up on our lower deck platform on my stomach. Now, number one, I had the wind knocked out of me. And I'm going to tell you, this was probably about the 20 longest seconds of my life trying to get my breath back. Number two, I'm also laying there thinking I need to check myself, make sure, I don't have any further damage than possible broken bones. I've been in EMS in some way, shape, or form, EMT, first responder, medical responder at work for 30 plus years, 34 years. And as I'm laying there gasping for breath, I'm moving my hands. Okay, I can feel myself moving my hands. I start moving my feet. I can feel myself wiggling my toes. I'm moving my feet. Okay, I don't have a spinal injury. I didn't hit my head, which was a really key thing as well. And at this point, I'm thinking, I need to get into the house. And so I actually was able to get up on my knees, start crawling up the steps of the house or up the steps of the deck to the house. And then just finally came to the realization, I can't get up there. I have to lay back down. So as I'm starting to lay back down, I was wearing snow pants at the time and I had my cell phone in one of the pockets and it somehow miraculously survived this fall. Didn't break, didn't bust. The screen wasn't busted. It was still totally intact. And now I'm starting to get my breath back. And so I call 911 and tell them what's going on. And in the meantime, while I'm talking to them, I can hear a vehicle pull up in the driveway. And I can kind of look over and I see it's my wife. And she comes up and finally I put her on the phone with dispatch. And now in the distance, I can hear sirens coming. And I had asked dispatch, having been on the fire department before in our town here, I had asked that as they get closer, they cut the sirens. I didn't want to really draw that much attention. And they did. They maybe got a half mile away and cut the sirens. And so I hear another vehicle pull up, and here at the time it was the police chief that I knew. He must have been bored that day to come out and help rescue me. And then one of the paramedics that came out on the rig was a paramedic that I knew, that I was on the fire department with. So it was for me, it was actually kind of nice to have people there that I knew. Anyway, so load me up, take me to the hospital. They run all kinds of tests. Ends up, I had 7 fractures in my back. 5 of which were the smaller little transverse processes. 2 of them were compression fractures of discs. And I was actually transferred to St. Cloud Hospital. Like I've said before, we live here in the Brainerd Lakes area. So Brainerd didn't have a neurosurgeon at that time. So they sent me to St. Cloud. in case I was to need surgery, which fortunately I did not. Spent the night in St. Cloud, came home the next day. And with the help of some really generous neighbors that no longer live by us, and my folks and our kids, was really able to get through a really tough time. I was out of work for about 6 weeks, and that, and it was just kind of mentally too for me. It was kind of tough. But like I said, with the support of everybody and my wife especially, taking care of me and taking me to appointments and follow-ups and things like that, it really, really, really helped. And so, I look back on that time and this could have ended up a whole different way. If like I said, I hit, in here, if I had been further up, I could have been paralyzed or worse, depending on how I had hit. If I had gone the other way, I probably would have landed full body on the deck, on top of my ladder. If I had gone, 4 feet past my head, I would have landed in the snowbank, probably shook it off and got up and continued doing what I was doing. But I'm so thankful and grateful that this incident turned out the way it did, and that, I'm able to do the things that I do, to get out here and hike, to mow my yard. I mean, something as simple as that, to shovel snow. I did learn a lesson. After that incident, I did buy a 21-foot roof rake. So now I can do my entire roof from the ground. Has that stopped me from getting on the roof? No. During the warmer months, if I want to check our shingles or something like that, or take some big branches or twigs or stuff off the roof, I'll get up there. It's like riding a bike. You fall off, you get back up. But and just being able to still do the things that I do. I work a pretty physical job. I'm doing this Mammoth March in a week, less than a week now. 20 miles in 8 hours. If things had turned out differently, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm very just thankful and blessed and to be able to do these things and to have the people around that I do. We've got, between my wife and I, we have 4 wonderful kids, 3 of which are married. My stepdaughter has a boyfriend who is just wonderful and fantastic. They've been together for quite some time. We have 5 grandchildren between us, or not between us, just in the family. We have 5 grandchildren. And being able to get together with them and do things with them is just, I'm just thankful and blessed that the way things turned out from this incident, or the way they turned out. And I'm thankful to still have my mom and dad around, and we'll be seeing them here soon. It's also my mom's birthday month. So, and one of the granddaughters and one of the son-in-laws. So we have a bunch of birthdays this month, and a cousin of mine too. So he had his birthday earlier this month. I can feel a few raindrops coming down, so it's probably going to start to rain here. So I'm going to probably wrap this up pretty quick. And, especially my wife, she, with everything she went through with me that 6 weeks, during that incident and the 6 weeks I was out, love you, honey. I couldn't have probably done it without you. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Next week, I probably won't be able to get anything out this week. It's going to be a busy week for me. I've got work, obviously. I've got theater rehearsals coming up all week, except for Friday. Friday, I head east towards Hinckley. I'm going to take you show you where I'm staying, and take you with during different stretches of this Mammoth March. So Marissa, again, thanks for liking, subscribing, and watching the videos. I'm gonna start heading out here and get out of the rain. But anyway, until the next time, love you all. Lace up your boots and hike the trails. All right, everybody take care.